Hello! Thanks for joining me. This is Bugman CX, and welcome to a new survival Let's Play series which I've called The Journey. And with the release of Minecraft 1.14, I thought it might be fun to go right back to the very beginnings of Minecraft and play the game through in survival from its very early days up until the current release. I'll be upgrading through the different versions of Minecraft as we go, but there are no time limits. I'll upgrade to each new release when I think we're ready to move on from the last. I started playing Minecraft with the 1.7 release version, so I missed out on experiencing all the new features that came with the game through its alpha and beta phases, and even those early release stages as well. Over the last decade, the game's changed a lot. The world generation and format has changed several times, which means I may not always be able to keep the world when I'm moving from one version to another, but I'll be aiming to try to do that wherever possible. Minecraft's own early development saw a lot of changes as the game found its way, going through several phases from 2009 until 2011, where it was finally considered fit for release. The earliest stages include pre-classic, classic, in-dev, and inf-dev. Then the game went through an alpha, a beta stage, and finally onto the release era, which was from 2011 until now. We'll talk about what each of these means as we progress through the series. But we're going to start this journey way back in pre-classic, when Minecraft was just a prototype known as Cave Game, and then work our way through. I've selected a few versions from the early eras to highlight the game's changes over time, but I doubt I'll be able to get a properly sustainable survival world for a while yet, not at least until the game starts to take form in its more modern style. A lot of this will also be brand new for me, so buckle up, let's get started. I'm ready. This is version RD132211 of Minecraft, the earliest version of the game that you can get, and this is before the game was even called Minecraft. This game at this stage was called Cave Game, and in fact the build number RD132211 was actually, the RD stands for Ruby Dung, which was the name of another game another program that Notch was writing at the time of this, which rendered worlds in a top-down fashion, and Minecraft was supposed to be the perspective of the game as if you were inside the world looking around. So this was the very first version. Can't do very much in here. You can place blocks and you can delete blocks with right click. You'll notice as well there are no sounds, although I believe there are sounds in some of these versions at least. But it was very problematic, especially getting the games running in a more modern environment, and because Mojang have removed some of the support for some of the older game sounds resources. But don't worry, we will do our best to work on that, and I think we can cope without a bit of sound. So what we're going to do here is build ourselves a house, because that's about all we can do in this game, and then we're going to come back when it's done. Ta-da! Look at this amazing, beautiful piece of architecture. It's made completely of cobblestone blocks because that's the only block you've got. And look at this. Here are some things that I noticed about the game as I was playing. The darkness is extremely dark, and it's just dependent on whether there are blocks above you or not. Which means if you open a sky block like this, you get a really weird, eerie patch of light. So let's have a look inside and see how I've used this to our advantage. First, you come into this little entryway, and then you just move into the main area of the house. There's not much to this house, except for this creepy table, which is under a skylight, and so this is the only surface in the house which has any light. Everything is dingy and dark otherwise. But down here, I've made a little basement, again with another little skylight, just so that you know that there's light out there. And as you come down here, kind of a bit of a dungeon. Effectively, I've just dug away at all of the cobblestone. Another strange thing is the way that the world generation works is that this layer here is always grass, no matter what. So if you delete the block and place the block, it's always going to be grass. There's no way to change it to cobblestone, so all the blocks above it and below it are just cobblestone. Yeah, so that's just the way that the game works. So let's go back outside where it's light because, oh boy. And there you go, there's our modern home. I think we've mastered this version. let's upgrade. Alright, are you ready for this one? Minecraft RD132328? I am. Let's go. There he is! There's the human. This is the first mob ever introduced into the game. He's wearing the Steve skin. The mob is officially designated a human, and I think just runs around like this, like a derpy idiot. And of course, there's our house, the one we built in the last version, so that's at least survived the upgrade, I'm pleased to say. But the only addition here is the mob, and there's not much more to it other than him just doing that. So why don't we move forward to the next version? Unfortunately, with the next version, we won't be able to keep our world. Well, we could, it's just that the terrain would stay the same, and the next version up introduces a new terrain engine, so let's take a look at that. And here is the new terrain generation. Isn't it looking lovely? There's a Steve. Yeah, this is looking a bit more like Minecraft now. You can slowly see the game coming together, and that's pretty cool. You can still place blocks and delete blocks, but you'll notice a few new effects now. We've got the particle effect whenever I smash up the blocks, and also I can choose between different blocks. I've got the dirt block, I've got the stone block, I've got the plank, and do I have anything else? Yeah, a cobble. Yeah, so these are the 4 blocks that I've got to play with at the moment, and I guess that includes grass as well, because I think grass will spread. Maybe we should build a house out of these before we upgrade to the next version, but really the only thing to show off here is the new terrain. Oh, also, if I press G, I spawn more Steves. One other thing about this game is it's starting to become Minecraft. The game is now called Minecraft Order of the Stone. It was previously known as the Cave game. So yeah, it's starting to get its identity, and the name Minecraft Order of the Stone only lasts for this single version. By the next version, it's just called Minecraft. So let me build a little house for us and Steve, and then we'll come back before we do the next upgrade. Will you just look at that? I don't think I've built anything more beautiful in Minecraft. But let's have a look at a couple of things. One, this is the planks, and the texture of the planks is quite different to the planks we know today. It's the same overall shape, but the color is quite different. Have a look inside my beautiful house, got a bit of a table and some windows, and that's about all we've got. Really not much else. There's not much more in this game other than the Steves, so I think it's time... Oh, they all just ran out of the window. I think it's time to get out of here and to upgrade and see what the next version has in store for us. We've now moved out of the pre-classic era and we're in the classic era of Minecraft. You can see the version number up the top there, 0.0.11a. And this really is just a continuation of what we had before, but the numbering has changed effectively. So a couple of changes since the last version. We now have access to a sapling with key number 6. So, that's not what I wanted. You see also that the interface has changed. It now puts a block in place to tell me what it's about to do when I'm deleting blocks? I want to delete the block. It's a little weird. I'm not getting it. Oh, there we go. The right click and left click has changed, I think. Unless I'm just being an idiot. No, yes it has. It's definitely changed. Okay. Place. Place. Why can't I place a sapling on there? I don't know. Oh, I see. Because you put it into the place mode and then you place it. So ready? We've planted a sapling. Look at that texture. It's wonderful. Okay. Couple of saplings here and here. But unfortunately, we're going to have to lose this beautiful house that we made because there are some changes in this version as well, which we need to take a look at. We're back. The world is reset. And what do I spy up here? I spy caves. Let's go check them out. Yep, looks like a cave. Pretty cavey. How deep does it... Oh, hello, Steve. Didn't expect to see you down here. Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty rudimentary cave. I can't say there's too much more to the game just yet. Cave goes up, cave goes down. I think there was another cave over here. Let's get inside. Yeah, looks like caves. But there's not much else we can do with this yet, so once more, it's time to upgrade. Now we've skipped a few versions and we're in version 0.0.13a_03. And as you might have noticed from the beginning there's a new terrain generation screen, which is the screen that we still have today basically, with a few minor modifications. And here's the addition of water, which is looking pretty cool indeed. And I'm led to believe that there's also lava in this, but at the moment I'm not seeing any, so I'm going to have a bit of a wander around and see if I can find some. Well, I've not been able to find any lava, but if you remember from some of the earlier versions at the beginning of this episode, the world was just one big cube, and it's still a big cube, but in this version you're not able to jump off the edge. You were able to do that in the previous versions, and if you look down carefully, that's bedrock underneath the water there. Bedrock was added in one of the versions in between all of this. So unfortunately there's no lava to be found, and one of the other sad things is that I can no longer save my game at the moment, and the reason for that is because if you go to the menu you can save level. Sadly you get this, and this is because Minecraft's website no longer supports the ability to save. Originally you used to save your levels to the cloud. You know, forward thinking, right? But unfortunately it doesn't work when you run these old games back now. So sadly, we're just going to have to carry on until we find a version that allows us to save locally again. Well, we've upgraded to 0.023a_01. And look at this world. We've got all of the things now. We've got the lakes, we've got the terrain generation, we've got oak trees with their very extremely bright leaves. We've got bright green grass, and we've got a hotbar, which is oh, and sounds, of course, how could I forget? Sounds were added in version 0.014 of the game, and so definitely they're here in this version. I'm so happy that I have sounds now. Some of those classic sounds we're going to hear throughout the series are going to start kicking in now. But what do we have on the hotbar? Well, same things we had before. We have the sapling, which is now a new texture. Before, last time we saw it, it was very, very orange. We also have the dandelion and this, which is the rose. It's not the poppy, and the texture, as you'll notice, looks quite different. So the rose was introduced and then later changed to the poppy when we got that double high rose. But let's have a look at this. B. Press B to get the inventory menu up. From here, let's have a look at the extra things we've got. Got brown mushrooms, let's put them there. And we've got red mushrooms, let's put them there. We've got sand, gravel, we'll have to have a look at that. Glass, whoops, we want that to be gravel and that to be glass. We've got a sponge. I didn't expect to see a sponge this early in the game, to be honest. And we've got gold block. That's pretty cool. Now down the bottom here we have wool, and the special thing about actually, it's not wool, it's called cloth. And the special thing about this cloth is that it's 16 colors, and they're colors that you haven't seen before in the game, because there's there's white, but there's no black. This is a color we haven't seen, and so is this. So I'm going to get these out and we're going to have a closer look at them. Just before we get into the other blocks, I wanted to take a quick look at these, because there are some simple mechanics in Minecraft that are starting to appear that we're very familiar with. For example, right here I should be able to place some sand blocks. But did you know that in this version, the gravity system is still in effect? Ready? Let's break that block. Now those two sand blocks pushed their way down. They didn't fall like they do with current Minecraft, but they definitely did fall. Same thing is you can put a sand block. Oops, I've broken the thingy. No, I haven't. There it is. I can put a sand block above the dandelion or whatever it is, but after a while, yeah, it crushes the flower. So that's pretty cool. The other thing is I can put a flower on top of a block like this, break the block, and I have a flower in midair. And actually what I can do is I think I can place flowers, in all sorts of strange locations, which means that the flowers will eventually disappear. And that's interesting because it means that they're taking a little while to detect, whereas the gravity blocks were instantaneous. Interesting. Let's go and build a house. Look at our fabulous little house. Now I was just putting the finishing touches on this pathway that leads all the way down here to the beach when I found an interesting quirk. I was making a pathway that goes through here. As you can see, I've added in some bushes. Down here I was landscaping a beach, when over here I was just fiddling with the blocks a bit, and suddenly a water source came out of nowhere and flooded this entire area and raised the entire sea level up by 1 block. So that's a peculiar bug, very peculiar. But in the meantime, I have made a house which makes use of every block that we have available to us in our inventory. Although, to be fair, with the cloth blocks, I only put them inside so that we could show them off. But let's head up the path, look at our lovely little garden. Don't get too distracted by those annoying highlighted blocks. And in through the doorway here, again, we've got a ceiling, but it's dark, it's gloomy. The light does come through, but once again, it only seems to brighten up the blocks that it exposes. But here, let's have a look at these anyway. We've got the red, orange, yellow, you know all these colors, but check out these colors. We've not really seen these before. In fact, I quite like them. They're a little bit pastel. Over here, we've got more of a range of different purples and pink, and then some standard grays, sort of a darker gray and a lighter gray in the white. Here we've got the sponge block. The sponge block is particularly bright when you have a look at it outside. In fact, if we just go outside and place one in the light, you can see just how bright it actually is. Very yellow. And through here we've got, we're making use of the cloth to highlight the curtains. Pretty clever. And up here we've got some gold blocks. These are also a little strange because they've got this very, very white tinge. Although I suppose when you look at a gold block, not that I've seen that many up close, but when you look at a gold block, I suppose it does have a kind of tinge like that. But it's interesting to see these early blocks in their early development and how many of the textures stayed and how many remained. The oak planks, or the planks here, are exactly the same texture that they've always been forever, again, until the latest update. Same with the oak logs, the stone, pretty much everything. The glass, yeah. So this has been a bit of fun, but unfortunately we can't save our game. Well, we can. If I save it here, it will save and I will be able to restore it, but not in the next version, unfortunately. Because the next version, for some reason, all of the save game functionality has been removed. That music is loud. So for now, we're going to skip this version and move on to the next. Alright, now we're talking version 0.24's Survival Test 03. So in this version, we've gotten rid of creative mode. This is completely survival mode. I can break blocks and we get floating entities. I can right click to place blocks so we don't have that really annoying right click to change modes thing. And look at these mobs, skeletons galore, creepers and zombies, all pretty much with the same skins that they will always have, with the exception of those creepers, which are looking pretty dark. Let's wander around for a little bit and see what else has changed. There's quite a lot of sand down there. Oh, there's the pig. So the pig was added to this version as well. It's the first passive mob. And I suppose, let's go down there. I suppose it is the, oh, I took damage. I suppose it is the most well-known piece of trivia about Minecraft, but the original model for the creeper was actually a mistake by Notch. He got the dimensions wrong for the pig model, and it became the creeper. So will one of these guys come up to me and say hello? Yeah, ow. Oh, so the creepers, they don't explode, they just attack. Let's run around for a bit and play survival. I mean, that's what we came here for. Get out of the way. There's no burning, and what's interesting is the way that the models move. In Minecraft that I'm used to, oh, we're running out of health already. In the Minecraft I'm used to, they sort of bounce back on their vertical axis, but here they were turning left and right, and when they die, they fall backwards, so that's something we haven't seen before, at least not in the same way. Die. I think you explode in an upcoming version, Mr. Creeper. Now there's not really that much more we can do in this version, considering that we're going to just get hounded by mobs the entire time. But I think I need to get out of here, because what I want to find are some mushrooms. Well, I found some gold ore, that's not mushrooms, and I believe if I break the gold ore, I will actually get a gold ore block. That's pretty cool. I thought I got a full gold block, but it looks like I get a gold ore block. I like it. I'm going to go on the hunt for some coal and also some iron as well. Aha! This is what we were looking for. 2 mushrooms. If I eat these... Oh, wait, these are the ones that poison us. Oh no, we need to find brown mushrooms. That was a terrible mistake. Oh. Well, I should know that from, playing the game normally. Don't fall off of cliffs. Come here, creeper. Gonna get ya. Oh, I love that. Oh, he did explode. He exploded on death. That's pretty cool. With some glowing dirt block entities. They actually look a lot smaller here than they actually are in the more modern game. Here's some iron ore as well. Let's check this out. Yeah, if we break that, it looks like we do get an iron block. Pretty good. Now what can we do with it? Not really sure. Let's have a look at B. This is a test of the signs. Each line can be 15 characters. Okay, well that's pretty sweet. But it appears that I don't have an inventory anymore, so I guess the only things I'm going to be able to have are what's on my hotbar. This gold ore, it's so much more yellow. It's kind of a deeper mustardy yellow than what we see in the current game. Aha! Brown mushroom. Now let's try it out. So you right click, it doesn't have any eating animation, you just right click and regain health. There's also no hunger yet, no saturation. But they do have this rudimentary armor, which looks very funky. I don't get to wear armor yet. You'll also notice that I have an arm, so we're getting close to the player model and getting the ability to have a player skin. There's another piece of functionality I want to test before we wrap up for the day, and that is that with the tab key... Oh, yes, there we go. I can fire arrows. Look at him bouncing around. Yeah, I have unlimited arrows, don't I? So I can just kill all of these nasties. What are you looking for, skeleton? Have you lost your car keys? No? You coming over to see me? Well, before you come up here, I've got something to show you. Huh! Arrows. Tab key fires arrows. I've got an unlimited supply, so I should be fairly safe. That's pretty cool. No bow yet. I'm sure that will come soon enough. But that's all we've got time for today, and I'm so glad that by the end of this episode we were able to at least reach the survival mode of Minecraft, There's not much more we can do here. We could definitely gather some resources, but we'd just be fighting mobs all the time. So I think what we need to do in the next episode is continue on through the next iteration of the versions. The thing about the next versions is that the survival test was only short-lived. It goes back to being a creative game in the next version, and then after that I think it starts to get more developed as we go. So I look forward to doing that. I hope you'll join me for episode 2 in this fun little series. I'm hoping by the end of episode 2 at least, we should have a proper survival game up and going. Fingers crossed. It depends how much of InDev and InfDev we have to explore. I really don't know yet. But until then, I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.